Hello everyone, welcome to Tea Time with Chloe. It's been a long time and I'm going to do a quickfire Q&A. I really am going to try and do it quickfire and I'm going to try and do it one take. I asked for questions weeks ago on my Instagram and then I didn't have a chance to film the video, but Will has taken the baby out on a walk. So we're going to have a go at doing this quickfire. If you can hear the dogs in the background, I'm sorry, they are running riot. First question that came up loads was, how are you? Honestly, thank you for asking, that's really sweet. I'm doing okay. I must admit the last couple of weeks have been kind of difficult. Darcy's got some allergies and we're working on figuring out exactly what she's allergic to, and that has been hard work. And she's also started teething. So she is being quite difficult at the moment. Not being difficult, it's not her fault, but she is being quite unsettled at the moment. Hence Will giving me an hour break so that I can do this, and he's having some daddy Darcy time on a walk with her. How are you finding motherhood so far? I absolutely love it. I feel like I was born for this. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, but it's also hard, and it's okay to say that it is hard. Me and my sister-in-law have talked about this a lot. Plans for memory keeping since you've had Darcy? I haven't been doing any because I don't have time. I tried to do December daily. I printed 3 days of photos and that was it. Didn't have a chance to do it again. Haven't done any of my scrapbooking since having Darcy. I've actually only just uploaded all of my photos from the month that she was born onto my hard drive. Haven't even done December yet. So eventually I will go back to Project Life because it is my absolute favourite way of documenting my life. But I don't know what that's going to look like yet, whether I'm going to have to really simplify it or what. What's been the most unexpected aspect of motherhood so far? For me, it's the fact that you have these just unlimited reserves of patience and strength that you didn't know you had before you had a baby, because someone is relying on you and you've just got to get on with it. I'm not necessarily saying that that's a good thing, because everyone needs a break and everyone needs time for themselves. But for me, I always felt like I was quite selfish with my time. I liked to relax and do nothing. And I did worry when I was pregnant, like, what if I resent the baby for like not having any time for myself? And it can be really hard, but you just find this like unlimited reserve of strength that you didn't know you had to get through the hard days. How long is your maternity leave? My maternity leave is a year long, but you only get paid for 39 weeks. So you have 39 weeks paid, and then like from 39 to 52 weeks is unpaid. Sorry, I was just looking at Margot doing something weird over there. I'm not sure what she's doing. And what are your future career plans? I don't have any future career plans at this time. I am dedicating the next however many years of my life to raising my babies before they go to school. Favourite thing about being a mummy? Her smiles, and every time she does something new is just amazing. The first time she laughed, I thought my heart was just going to burst out of my chest. It was absolutely amazing. What has made you consider moving house again? Okay, so for those who don't follow me on Instagram, I posted a few weeks ago that we were having our house valued because we were interested in moving house again. So it's Will who wants to move, really. I'd be happy to stay here a little bit longer, but basically we have 3 bedrooms and one of them is Will's office because he permanently works from home now. The downstairs little room is my craft area, which I can make into like a craft room come playroom for our kids. And then we have our master bedroom upstairs, and Darcy is in the box room. So basically, if we were to have another child, there's nowhere for them to go. Will needs a permanent office space, and his stuff doesn't fit in the box room, basically. So we're considering moving before we have a second baby so that we don't have to move with 2 kids. But we've had the house valued, and it was valued at much higher than we were expecting, which is amazing. But the houses that we're interested in are obviously higher priced as well. So it's all up in the air at the moment. We don't know whether we're going to move or not. But basically it's just a space thing with the bedrooms. The downstairs space is fine. It's just the bedrooms that are the problem. Things you've learned during motherhood that you wish you were prepared for? I don't know really at this point because I'm only 3.5 months in. I did so much research on breastfeeding, and that was still the hardest thing in the initial days after Darcy was born because she had a tongue tie. I didn't get any help with anything. The midwives were not very helpful in hospital, to be honest. A breastfeeding counsellor came round in hospital. In hindsight, I don't even think she was particularly useful. The only thing that helped was going to a private IBCLC tongue tie practitioner, lactation consultant. She was amazing and got Darcy's tongue tie snipped for us. So even though I'd done loads of research, I wish that I was more like mentally prepared for how hard those first few days were going to be with Darcy's feeding. And obviously we've had issues since then with her allergies and stuff as well. So breastfeeding is hard. I don't care what anyone says, like breastfeeding's hard and it's 100% worth it. I'm so glad I do it and I have no intentions of stopping anytime soon, but it is hard and it annoys me when people say that like you're just lucky it worked out or whatever, because actually it is hard work. You really have to work hard at it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. How are the dogs with Darcy? The dogs are absolutely fine with Darcy. They're not really bothered about her at all. They're more interested in her stuff than in her at this point. Margot destroys her things because she thinks that the toys are for her, which is why she can't be left unattended in the other room because Darcy's toys are in there, which is why she's in here with me. She's destroyed a dummy, mittens. She chewed a chunk out of one of her toys yesterday. We have to be watching her all the time. Does it feel surreal that you actually have just a little mini human? I can't imagine it. Yes, it does feel surreal. Often I look at her and I'm like, I grew you. Insane. It's completely surreal, especially because she came out really looking like me. She's looking a little bit more like Will now as well. She's a bit more of a mix of the two of us now, I think. She doesn't really look like Will now. She looks like Will when he was a baby. If you looked at Will's baby photos, you wouldn't even know that it was him, honestly, but she definitely has a look of him as a baby. But yeah, because she came out looking just like me and for the first weeks of her life, she was like my twin. It was completely surreal. The biggest change in your life since becoming a new mum? Everything. The biggest change is that you literally cannot do anything for yourself, especially when you are an exclusively breastfeeding mum. And again, that's not me saying anything about formula feeding mums. Like, I 100% feed your baby the way that is best for you. That's absolutely your choice. Nothing against formula whatsoever. But when you're formula feeding, you often can ask for help. Your mum or your mother-in-law or your sister or your husband or your boyfriend can look after the baby for an hour or two, and they'll be able to feed the baby. Breastfeeding mums can't do that. We haven't tried Darcy with a bottle yet, because I haven't got a pump, so I don't express breast milk, and I won't be giving her formula at this point, mainly due to her allergies, and also just because it can upset babies' tummies when they've been breastfed and then they're given formula. So I literally don't get a minute to myself unless Will takes her on a walk for an hour like this, and that's the longest I've been away from her in 3.5 months, is an hour. Postpartum weight loss tips. I'm struggling to lose the baby weight. One, you don't need to lose the baby weight, but two, if it would make you feel better about yourself to lose baby weight, just don't put pressure on yourself. I literally don't have any tips at all. I was quite surprised, I must admit, by how quickly my body went back to its normal size. My body does not look the same at all as it did before pregnancy. I have a much jigglier tummy than before. Obviously my boobs are different because I'm breastfeeding. I have really obvious like veins all over. That's to do with the pregnancy and breastfeeding as well. I don't look the same at all, but I was surprised by how quickly I went back to normal. So I guess some people might see that and think that I've done something to lose the weight, but I haven't. I think part of it is breastfeeding, and part of it is the fact that I've had to give up dairy and soy. So I've given up a lot of the most fatty foods that previously I lived off, like pizza and chocolate and stuff. I can't eat them anymore. So I think that's why I've lost like all my baby weight. Next, something that you thought would be hard in new motherhood but wasn't, or was fairly easy. I can't really think of, I think I thought that the initial adjustment of having a newborn would be really tough, but actually those first few weeks were my like favourite time ever, because I was recovering from the C-section. Even though I was in a lot of pain, once we'd established feeding and that was going much better and she was gaining weight and they weren't as worried about her jaundice and stuff anymore, I basically just hibernated at home with my baby. I barely left my bedroom, and in fact we still spend a lot of time upstairs in the bedroom just feeding and cuddling and all that sort of thing. I thought it was going to be so hard those first weeks of being handed this baby and being like, right, go home and be a mum. But actually that for me was the easiest part. And also the initial sleep deprivation I thought was going to be a killer. But we were so lucky with Darcy that she's actually, most nights she'll do like a longer stretch of sleep at the beginning of the night. So I was still getting maybe like 3-4 hours sleep a night. So that was easier than expected as well. Are you planning on doing a baby scrapbook album? Not right now. I want to just carry on with my project life, but I think maybe in a few years I might go back and do a baby album. Right now I'm only going to have time for one project at a time, if that. Annoyingly, my one take thing was ruined because my phone ran out of storage, so I have had to carry on. I had to delete some footage and then carry on. But yeah, so I'm only going to have time for one project at a time, if that. So project life is going to be my priority, and then I think in future I'll go back and do like themed specific albums like I've done for other areas of my life. When is baby number 2? We are actually hoping to have baby number 2 sooner rather than later. So baby number 2, if we are lucky enough, may even be arriving next year, but I am not currently pregnant. What do you wear for breastfeeding when you're out? I'm struggling to find stuff. So I am dreading spring because at the moment I wear the one up, one down technique. So I always have a top over the top with a vest top underneath and a nursing bra or a crop top or whatever. And you can pull the vest top and the nursing bra down and the top on the top up. So you are like completely covered when you're feeding. So when it gets into spring, summer, I'm dreading it because I don't know what I'm going to wear. But yeah, one up, one down seems to work for me really well at the moment. And last question, how are you coping after losing Winnie? Some of you might not actually know that we lost Winnie. I have a load of footage from Christmas, which I meant to put into a video and I just never did. I think I'm just going to keep it as a video for myself now rather than upload it onto my channel. But we actually lost Winnie on the 23rd of December and it was horrendous. I'm not going to go into it now, but it was awful. So sad. She didn't like suffer or anything like that, but it was horrendous to lose her, obviously. And yeah, it was horrible. And at the same time, Margot went into season, so her and Archie had to be separated. So then they were howling the house down and it was just awful. But yeah, we're coping okay. We have a baby. We're too busy to like mope, do you know what I mean? I feel like for a long time I didn't really even get to process it because I was so busy with Darcy and so distracted with Darcy, and so occasionally it will suddenly hit me that she's not here anymore and I'll get really upset. But I have a little like section of the mantelpiece that's dedicated to Winnie with her food bowl and her ashes and a little picture of her, and I watch videos and look at pictures of her when I'm feeling sad. And I think it helps to know that we gave her a really great life after the awful time she had before, and we completed her bucket list. And also when somebody's been ill for a long time, obviously she's a dog, but she was somebody to me, you grieve before they're even gone. And I think that played a part as well. But yeah, those are all my questions. Thank you for asking them. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And hopefully I will see you very soon. Bye guys.